PG. What's up, boys? I'm back. A little groggy today, I must admit. I've had a grind here. It's been a grind. Long day. 5 hours with the kid on my own. Feel for those single parents out there, I'll tell you. Oh, doctor's appointment, dance class, craft fair, driving in Langley, Red Robins. Tired. Went through the barrel of emotions. Yeah, it was fun. I feel like I've ran a marathon, but it's all good. I'm not going to complain. So let's get right to it. Missed last week. Kinda. I had my 10th anniversary sort of, walk down memory lane there last week. Which was awesome. Took a lot out of me, that one. So I didn't do a proper podcast last week. Apologize for that one. Sorry, boys. I know you guys are all in pins and needles, but we're back this week here for week 11. Week 11. Getting there. This is now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. 2 weeks left for the playoffs, boys. Saddle up. Screw that noggin on, and it's coming down to matchups, planning that lineup. Every move becomes a little more intense, a little more at stake, a little more on the line. Reputations are built, torn down. This is the stuff that dreams are made of, and this is also where dreams get crushed. These few weeks here, and you've got a log jam, not so much at the top, obviously, but at the bottom. There's half a dozen guys that are still in lottery position, potentially. There's a couple guys, I'll go over this quickly later, that I think are locked in. And then there's a few on that thin red line. But we'll go over that. This will be a quick one. We were gonna get Reggie in for a communications episode, but he wasn't able to make it. I think I was a little bit later than I was anticipating with the podcast, but we got him next week. We are going to get a special guest though, and I want to get this in quick now, actually, because he's off to a movie with his kids. So I'm going to get him on the line and have a quick little interview to start off the segment, and then after that I'll run quickly over games that happened over the last week, and then quickly look at this week's games and matchups and the standings and where we're at with that. So let me just get a hold of this motherfucker. Hopefully it's not too late. He's got a 4:30 movie. Dia, hold on. Come here.
Has been forwarded to an automatic voice messaging system.
Bummer.
Ryan Powers.
Oh, there you go.
Is not available.
Good interview.
At the tone.
No interviews today. We're going to blast through this. So much for getting everybody on there. You got like 11 guys I haven't talked to yet. A couple weeks left. Anyways, that was embarrassing. There's a lot of dead air there. It's not how radio is meant to go. But I don't think there's supposed to be so many ums in radio either. Yeah, so, anyways, let's get right to it. Okay. There's a waste of a 1 hour. Questions, interview, fast five. No shows. 2 of them. Oh, I got nothing better to do in life, right? Anyways. Week 9 was my last official podcast, and I went 6-2 for the second straight week to bring me up to 32-24, respectable. Getting there now. A quick recap of week 10. Not going to go back 2 weeks. You guys all have a scoreboard on your fucking computer screen. You can see what happened. We all know who won. We all know who lost. But in week 10, let's talk about it. Talk about it. A lot of the PG brethren are in, or maybe not yet, but they're going to be heading down to Seattle for the big game this weekend. That ought to be fun for them, for those guys. But excuse me. Sorry, just trying to get my brain wrapped around it. I just literally threw the kid at my wife and said, "Walk away. Just walk away." But she understood. She's been there a lot more than me. Now I kind of get a glimpse into her world when I'm sitting there watching football. She's being a parent and whatnot. Oh, well. PTP, part-time parent. That's where it's at. Okay, so week 10. I can just wait on you, Powers. It's only a 2-hour movie. Get lost. You got 27 movies. You got 23 minutes till the movie's on. Like, you can answer your darn phone. Anyways. Week 10. Nope, you're out. Jerk. Lost your chance. Get on the airwaves. Be forever immortalized on YouTube. Billions of viewers. One day. Week 10. No, I'm sorry. Fist had a squeaker over Mangold there. Good score by Mangold. I'm hoping Mangold puts up that score now the rest of the way, paving the way towards a non-lotto pick. More on that later. Saw the Fist, 159, 146. Fist did his thing despite some kind of subpar running back scores. See you later, sucker. And then in the heartbreaker of the week for me and Slaughter is 5-10. Now 4-6, and the trajectory is pointing upward after he ripped a gigantic 99.5 win, 99.5 to 99.3 victory over Slaughter. Division win, huge victory for Briz. Unbelievable. Slaughter's at 5-5 now. About where he belongs, right there in the middle of the pack. There's your Northeast scores. Northwest Division had a high scoring week. All 4 teams came to play in the first week of the second leg of these divisional matchups. The Lotto Corp lost a heartbreaker to Sassy, 162-149. Sassy's now got 2 wins, but he's still pretty much locked in on that lottery spot. In fact, I think it could be mathematically impossible unless he was to put up, like, if he wins back-to-back games and then he has to put up like 300 points in each game or something stupid. But he's going to be a lottery pick. Well, I mean, he could win his last 2 games and everybody else just loses. But, the chances of that happening are very slim. But never know. AP's on the bench going forward. Sassy's gonna have a turnaround next year, I think. Yeah. Whether he hangs on to those 2 quarterbacks or not, both good, both startable, both really good actually. Okay, you got time to frickin' text? You got time to talk on the phone? F off. Sorry, apologize. More to there. And the Hoff lost. He got rehoffed again. Second rehoffing of the season against the same guy. So good. Drunk Hoff on the blog. That's pretty much all you see on the blog of him is Drunk Hoff. Out there schmoozing clients every weekend. I don't know how you get away with it, buddy. That Babs is a beauty. She puts up with a lot. Maybe you've confused her in her Mexican dialogue, convincing her that this is how most people act, but this guy's out boozing it up all the time with the boys, just schmoozing, rubbing shoulders, selling fucking couplings. Yeah, I got the N57. It's the strongest one on the market. Let's do some shots. Da, 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 da. On the company car. On the company car. It's beautiful. Anyways, I digress. Rebuild with another stunning 160-point day. That's a hell of a rebuilding team, I'll tell you that right now. They're pretty good, and they're rebuilding. It's a facade. That's your Northwest Division. Reggie shellacked Powers last weekend. No need to talk about it. Other than the fact that Reggie's 10-0. Very likely he's going 12-0. Get used to it. Get in your heads. It's going to happen. Not only is it going to happen, he's got a clean run at the title. The runway's clear. Anyways, V-Wall beat down Russ, who's just fallen off the tracks. 3-7. Pathetic, Russ. You know that. But that's what happens. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. That's a fact. You don't stay stagnant in this league. You either go up or you go down. Southeast Division. Democracy just rounding into form here, heading into the playoffs. 194 points. And then Hammer put up 149. That's a great week. What do you do? I mean, you're going to win 9 times out of 10, 150 points. 7 times out of 10. Pollock, he beat up the butt plugs, which surprised me and annoyed me. But just because of the lotto implications there. If you haven't guessed, I have a potential lottery pick. And I need the other potential lottery picks to lose. Or to win, sorry. And they didn't. It was a bad week. Anyways, personally. Week 11. Now this week, it's not only now we've got lottery picks to sort out. Who's in the bottom 4? Who's making the playoffs? Who's going to scrape into the playoffs? Who's going to win their division? There's some divisions, 2 of them, that are up for grabs still. Now, arguably, just looking at it, officially clinched. The fist is clinched, and Reggie's obviously clinched. So I think Reggie clinched last week. But I've clinched now with Flott's loss. I just realized that. I mean, I already had it penciled in. I mean, the $100 is already spent. But it's nice to see and realize that, kind of embarrassing. I'm just realizing it now. The light just went on. I've won my division. It's official. So that's cool. But there's still 2 divisions up for grabs here. Surprisingly, Rebuild, who has a game against Lotto next week, is only 1 game back of him. So there's a big Hold on here. Lotto. No, sorry, they're playing this week. Not necessarily to swap the divisional lead. I believe that would make them tied in the head-to-head, which would then go to points for. But they're relatively close there as well. So this division is very much up for grabs. This game is huge. But I was supposed to start with the Northeast. I'm up against Briz. There's a lot of points going on Thursday night there. I'm going with myself there. Maybe not as much as the projections lay out, but I think it's going to be it's going to be a bit of an easy victory, if there is such thing. And then you got Kenton versus Slaughter. Cool game here. They're both projected in the 130s by ESPN. I think Slaughter's projected to get a little bit more. I think either way, it's close. But I just like the playmakers on Kenton's squad. I feel like he's got more playmakers there. Luck has Tennessee, I believe. I think Indy and Tennessee play. So that's not an easy matchup. Now, if Tennessee keeps on rolling and scoring those points like they have been, it could be 50 pass day for Luck, and he could put up some big points. So, but I just like Kenton's across the board. I think he's got more talent, and I think he's going to win the game. I picked Kenton here. Now Kenton needs to win if he wants to make it in. He has a good team, and I've said this earlier on in my rankings, my preseason rankings especially. This guy's got a good squad. He's got Eifert back now. That's a big deal. And right away he was contributing. I think he had a 20-plus point game in his first game back. So I mean, I haven't looked ahead in the matchups, but you got James Winston that can drop 40 on you any week. And this is a team to think about. Gurley's been a disappointment. I mean, everybody knows that they're going to run the ball, and not effectively, which is the only surprising part about it. But I'm going with Mangold here, and I predict that he's gonna squeak in this year. But on to the Northwest, huge game, Rebuild versus Lotto. These guys have been going neck and neck all year long. Two great teams going head to head this week, and I mean, you got the possibly the equalizer here is now Lotto is projected to win, and I think it's like by 15 or more points. But I'm going to pick the underdog here. Wentz in Seattle. That one scares me. I have a feeling that he's going to be walking into the oven, and he's going to be put into the fire, and it could be a bad game for him, really bad. And like it could be like ugly bad, but who knows? He's a good young player, a lot of potential. You never know, but I just don't like it. A rookie quarterback who's kind of been struggling lately going into Seattle. I don't like it. So, I mean, and Zeke versus Baltimore. I noted that down as well. Like Zeke's just like matchup proof, I know, but Baltimore's D is sick lately. It's been playing really, really well. I think I remember hearing earlier in the week that they are the top defense in yards given up, which is significant. I mean, I think they're going to give them a challenge this weekend, and I think that Zeke might not blow up for 764 yards like he's been averaging. So I think that Fitz is going to be putting up some big points, and I know it's against some good DBs in Minnesota, but he's not going to have Rhodes on him all game. He's going to be moving around. I don't think that Rhodes moves around too much, especially in the slot anyways. But Fitz is going to have a good game, I think, and I just like a few of Rebuild's matchups this week, so I'm going to stick with him. Southwest Division. Russ versus Reggie. Going with Reggie there, obviously. Township versus V-Wall. You know what I'm waiting for? Now, I know you're 10-0 and best team in the league, arguably. Where's the big breakout game? That's the scary part is he hasn't won yet. He's won every game, and he hasn't even had his big game yet. Which I think we can all agree, we don't want to see it come, but it's coming. So, he's in the 130s, 140s, 150s, 160s, and it's like every week, boom, 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 boom. The scary thing is, pretty soon he's going to drop like 280. That's what his team's built to do. It's going to drop a 200-point game coming up here pretty quick. Either way, it doesn't matter. He can score 120, and he's going to beat Russ this week. Township versus V-Wall. Even though V-Wall's wide receivers are lame, you got Big Ben versus Cleveland, and it's always good. I got V-Wall here. Township's got a couple tough matchups going this week. Like I mentioned, Baltimore. I'm gonna stick with V-Wall on that one. Tough game, but I think V-Wall's gonna win it. It'll be close. We got Democracy. This is the Southeast. In Democracy, we got Prugs versus Democracy. This is going to be an interesting game. I almost picked Laffy in the upset, and I made a point, like a devil's advocate point, covering my butt. If Eli has a monster game, which I think he might this week, one of his signature, like, who's this guy games, 4 TDs, 362 yards, whatever, Laffy going to win this game. If Eli is a huge game. But I'm picking Crenny in a close game. I think that he's got some tough matchups as well. I can't remember who Arizona plays. It's bugging me. I'm sorry that I didn't have this written down, but I remember thinking David Johnson's got a tough go. Oh, they're playing Minnesota. Mind you, Minnesota's missing some key guys there. I know they're missing Hendricks, I think, and someone up front, I believe. But they're missing a couple of key players on defense. So, and David Johnson catches all those swing balls. So, I mean, he's going to get his points. But still a tough matchup. It's in Minnesota. And a lot of that depends on how's Palmer doing. If Palmer going to lay an egg, that hurts everybody else. So, anyways, I got Crenny picked with the caveat that if Eli has a big game, then Laffy can win that game. I also noted that Crenny's just got so much talent. He's got guys across the board. Any of them can put up 20, or all of them. Any and all of them can put up 20. Interesting note, though, every one of Laffy's offensive players are playing at home this week, so that's worth mentioning. It's significant. It's something to think about. Although, isn't Eli on the road? Who cares? Fucking hell. 24 minutes already. Pollock versus Hammer. Another big game. Pollock is still got the division lead. I didn't mention this earlier when I was talking about the division leaders. But this is one of the divisions that's up for grabs. It's that Northwest division with Lotto and Rebuild, and the Southeast division with Democracy one game behind Pollock still to this point. Like I've been saying for a few weeks now, the House of Cards are going to fall at some point. But Pollock wins again last week, despite an average score, yet again, and he's 7-3. And this guy just knows how to win those low-scoring games. So, Hammer wins. I got Hammer to win this week against Pollock. So if he wins, Pollock's 7-4, Democracy's 7-4, and we got ourselves the game of the year coming up next week for the division. Democracy versus Pollock. So this is awesome. It's just awesome. I love the format of this schedule, and this is why. This is why we do this. so that those games are at the end of the year and we're, dialed in. Monday Night Football, the Big Easy, taking on Democracy is a Farce. Anyways, ODB versus Chicago, Blunt versus San Francisco. A couple of beautiful matchups, but I like Hammer's talent across the board. I think he wins out. Russ and I believe he's starting to lock it this week. They can, if they come together for a score, a couple of nice big long plays against Philly, they can put up some points. And Russ is getting healthier and healthier. Oh, excuse me. He's going to run for 50 yards this week, next week. It's coming. He's going to start running again, I think, as he gets more healthier. Just a quick look at the lotto picture before we shut it down here. I've kind of gone over the playoff picture. This is kind of going over the lotto picture. It's the same thing as going over who squeaks into the playoffs. Really quick, I've written down 6 guys. I don't have Hammer in there at 4 and 6. I think Hammer wins this week, and I think he's got some tiebreakers, and he scored more points. So I'm not really looking at Hammer as a potential, even though it's probably mathematically still possible. But I'm going to just lay out here with the 6 teams that I think still have a chance to make the playoffs / not make the playoffs. Sassy's pretty much in. Sassy's got a lotto. Let's all get used to that, including you, Sassy. You have already. I know that. So we got Sassy at 2 and 8. We've got 4 guys at 3 and 7. Hoff, Poop in the Urinal, Prugs, and Mangold. And then Briz at 4 and 6. The reason I got Briz in there is because I'm projecting myself to beat him this week, which puts him at 4 and 7. I've got Mangold and Hoff to win this week, which puts them both at 4 and 7. So, in my eyes, he's in the same boat as they are heading into the final week of the regular season. And then, like Prugs, Laffy has a win over Russ, Brisbane, and Cap. So, if the tiebreakers come into play, that's significant. Having said that, if more than 2 guys, namely 3 or more, end up with the same record, unless it works out perfectly with the head-to-head, if they've all played each other and it works out that he's beaten him, and he's beaten him, and it's easy to determine, chances are if there's 3 or more guys that have the same record, it's going straight to points for it. Because if you all haven't played each other or whatever, then that doesn't matter. That it's all out the table. Just so you guys are clear, it's always been that way. Like if 3 guys are there at 3 and 7, 2 guys have played each other, but 1 guy hasn't played one of them, head-to-head goes out the window. Because you can't eliminate a guy if he hasn't played another guy, right? So, points for is definitely going to come into play depending on how it ends up here. Because I can see a bunch of guys at 4 and 7, or 4 and 8, sorry. There's going to be, next week's obviously going to iron it all out, obviously. But the way I can see it, I can see there being several guys at 4 and 8. Maybe a few guys at 3 and 9. I don't think I've got Hoff in because Russ has beat Hoff. Drew's beat Hoff. And I think the only win that Hoff has over any of these guys is over Sassy. In which case, Hoff has no tiebreakers. Like I said before, though, it's probably going to go to points for. Drew has the lowest points for right now. I believe Laffy's kind of down there. And Russ, we know Sassy's down there. Hoff, I think, is a little higher in the points for. So, here's your 6 guys that I think are in that picture. Now, I think it's 5 guys between 3 spots because I'm going to put Sassy in there. Interesting enough, though, Russ has wins over Hoff and Sassy. So Russ has a win over Hoff, Laffy has a win over Hoff, and Brisbane has a win over Hoff. No, sorry. Laffy doesn't have a win over Hoff. Either way, looks like Hoff is pretty dire straits right now. Unless he wins this week, things will change. So there's only one guy that's in my mind out of the running, and that's Sassy. I think that all the other guys on this list should be looking towards the playoffs because you could be there. Hoff, you got to win, bro. You got to win out. That's the bottom line. Anyways, sorry, boys. No interview. Apologize if I was a little lackluster today. Like I said, I started off with a long day out with the little one, the little tyke. But I feel good. Feel good now. I think my family's left me, actually. Are you still here, Tara? Oh, they're still here. All right, boys. Have a good week. Fist out.